Hello Embers, welcome to the channel, Final Flame here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the Desert Pavilion Chronicle. So this is the new artifact set that's going to be coming in patch 3.3, and from the looks of it, it's going to be the signature set for the one and only Wanderer. But I'm not here to really talk about the Wanderer today because he's still not officially out with all of his multipliers and everything, so it's really tough to judge how good this set is going to be on him until we get some more official news. AKA, basically we need him to release. But I do want to talk about this set on other Anemo characters that are currently in the game and see if this is going to potentially be their new best in slot set as well. So I'm going to be mostly talking about Xiao and Heizou today, and then just giving a few Anemo character recommendations that I think this set could definitely be run on for other Anemo characters I didn't cover. So let's go straight into what this artifact set does. So for the 2-piece bonus, it gives a Anemo damage bonus of 15%, while the 4-piece set bonus is where the real, meat and potato lies. So when charge attacks hit opponents, the equipping character's normal attack speed will be increased by 10%, while normal, charged, and plunging attack damage will be increased by 40% for 15 seconds. So basically, you use a charge attack that connects with some opponents, all of a sudden you get a nice little attack speed boost and you're hitting like a truck for your normal charge and plunging attack. So I think this set is actually pretty good. So I'm going to do a comparison today using Xiao with the death match between his Vermilion set and the Pavilion set. So I made sure sorry, might be tongue twister. So I actually set up the Vermilion Hereafter set with the max stacks in order to see the end damage comparison. I'm going to, put up a window here real quick so you guys can actually see everything better and actually compare the stats for yourselves as I go back and forth. So what I did, I got Xiao. I made sure that he had the same stat line across the board, 81 crit rate, crit damage 202, and then 46% Anemo damage bonus. While this one will adjust this, he has 61.6% here, but that's because of the 2-piece set bonus, while he still has the same crit rate and crit damage. And if you notice, his attack is lower here, but that's due to the fact that the Pavilion Hereafter gives bonus attack. But I wanted to have him on even playing field, same weapon, same artifact, main stats and all that, same stat line, all that good stuff. But the main difference is really just coming from the artifact sets on his stat lines. So you can see that here reflected in the stats. I made sure all of his talents are 888. Okay, so for Xiao, I started off with making sure that his Elemental Burst was active and also his Essential 1 passive was at maximum stacks. I did it for both setups. And as you can see over here, his plunging attack damage for his low is 23k and 29k for the high for the Vermilion Hereafter. If we go over to the Pavilion, it's 23k for the low and then 28 for the high on the plunge damage. But if you notice, they're actually pretty close to similar values. But coming over here, I made sure that his Vermilion Hereafter was also fully stacked while making sure that the Desert Pavilion Chronicle was also activated. So I gotta say, I'm actually quite impressed that these values are quite close, despite this artifact set not providing near as much attack as this set for the Pavilion Hereafter. But in this case, I would guess it really just goes to show that this set holds up in the case of Xiao's plunging attack damage. Now you'll notice something here though. His skill damage does 22k, but if you come over here, you get almost a 3k drop off for the skill damage when you're using the Pavilion set. So personally, with this noticeable difference between his elemental skill damage and the fact that it still lags behind on his plunging attack damage, I think it's fair to say that the Vermilion Hereafter set is stronger than the Desert Pavilion set. However, this Desert Pavilion set is much better to farm, especially being with the Flower of Paradise Lost. I feel like this setup is just way easier to farm. Not to mention the Vermilion Hereafter set, it's with the Ayato set, so it's not really the ideal set to go after and chase. While it might look tempting as a Xiao main, I promise you, getting yourself a really solid set of Desert Pavilion, you won't even notice the difference between it and the Vermilion Hereafter. Also, you have to remember to understand that the Vermilion Hereafter requires you to do a few plunging attacks first before it really gets to its maximum damage. So if I was to take away the 4 stacks and make it just 1 stack, all of a sudden you notice, hey, this is only 21k for the low plunge, 26 for the high plunge, and you come back over here to Desert Pavilion. All you have to do is do a charge attack. You get all of these bonuses. So I would say this is definitely way more bang for your buck. You're getting a really good bloom set as well on top of it. And honestly, it's probably going to be a lot more universal than the Vermilion Hereafter, due to the fact that this is really only a Xiao set. Only Xiao is the current character that can really maximize this set, unless you want to play a character that's getting hit most of the time, and let's be real, most of us don't do that to begin with. So this set is definitely more universal and is going to be a much better addition to your team comp, and it has no requirements for you to hit the stacking except just, you know, landing a charge attack. You could easily do that with Xiao even before you activate his Bane of All Evil. So moving on, let's talk about Heizou. So for Heizou here, I had to give him some custom stats in order to get his stat line equal as well. So as you can see, the crit rate and crit damage are equal, while the Anemo damage bonus is actually equal too, due to the 2-piece bonus effects from both of these sets. So I have him on 2-piece Viridescent, 2-piece Glad, aka just 2-piece VV, 2-piece attack. And then I have him on the Desert Pavilion using the Solar Pearl. Both of the Solar Pearls are active for their bonus to your normal attacks, as well as your bonus to elemental skill and elemental burst damage. I wanted to make sure those were both active. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the damage. As you can see with the 2-piece, his normal attack string damage is actually quite strong. If you look here at the charge attack and hit 5 for the end of his normal attack string, it is 4.4k, and then you have 4.8 for the charge attack. But if you come over here to the Desert Pavilion, it's 5k, and then you have 5.4. So it's clear to see that the Desert Pavilion has the advantage here, and that should be obvious. Even though the 2-piece has the attack bonus that does help go towards every aspect of damage that Heizou does, this Desert Pavilion set with the 4-piece bonus providing you a 40% increase damage on your normal charge and plunging attacks means your Heizou's normal attack string, his charge attacks, are going to be hitting significantly harder. Now, however, for me personally, whenever I play Heizou, I really like to just swap him in really quick and then, you know, throw his burst or throw his skill. So you're gonna notice here that the Desert Pavilion, even though it does have a normal higher attack string and charge attack damage than the 2-piece, it actually falls behind in the skill damage as well as the burst damage. So if you come here to the skill damage, as you can see, it's 15k, but if you come over here, it's 16k. So you're going to notice that, and the main reason for that is because this provides the attack bonus to everything. So that means your skill damage, your elemental burst damage is going to get bonus. But if you come back over here to the Desert Pavilion, it's actually going to fall short because this bonus only focuses on your normal charge and plunging attack. It does nothing for your elemental skill and elemental burst. And I know a lot of people who play Heizou are all about the elemental skill and elemental burst. I mean, who doesn't love building up 4 declension stacks and then watching it go off and being One Punch Man out here? So I can 100% respect if you value his elemental skill and elemental burst damage a lot more. But personally for me, I still do feel that the Pavilion set is just a solid set overall for Heizou. Sure, you do take quite a bit of a hit when it comes to your elemental skill and elemental burst, but it's not that big. It's very insignificant in my opinion. So the fact that you'll get way more consistent damage in your normal and charge attacks and your plunging attacks, and you'll still have pretty good overall charge and burst. Elemental skill and burst. I honestly believe that this set is going to provide you just way more value at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, in the case of Xiao, it's not technically his best in slot set. Vermilion Hereafter is still the king when it comes to Xiao sets, but at the same time, there's so many downsides to farming that artifact set, not to mention it's not universal for a lot of characters, that I believe Desert Pavilion is just way more worthwhile for Xiao. Unfortunately, I didn't prep a two-piece comparison for Xiao. I will probably do that in the future once he actually, you know, gets the set in real life. Hopefully I can farm up a quick one, and I'd love to show off some more the damage differences. But yeah, just, you know, going off of this set does compete quite well with the Vermilion Hereafter, and that's the main point I'm trying to get across, that this set can keep up with his best in slot set. Now, as for Heizou, I believe Heizou is better off with the Desert Pavilion, but at the end of the day, it really just comes down to your personal preference. If you're a one-punch guy and you want to get Heizou doing as much damage as possible, hey, go for the two-piece. You're going to get more damage out of it for your elemental burst and elemental skill. But if you can get a really good Desert Pavilion set, that can be used for a bunch of different characters on your roster. Anyway, finally, there's one more thing I want to talk about. So I want to talk about some characters that I believe are going to actually be good additions to, yeah, you know, earning the Desert Pavilion in the future. Obviously, Xiao and Heizou are really good characters. And Kazuha, if you like playing DPS Kazuha, because I know a lot of people out there do, especially those of you who got him C6, that set is probably going to be insane for him. I don't even doubt it. But finally, one character I really feel that people haven't been talking about for potentially getting the set is Jean. Jean is definitely a character I feel that can really use the set. Play yourself a physical Jean, give her Aquila Favonia, she gets a nice normal charge, you know, all that stuff bonus, and she just gets to work, and she still has the Anemo damage bonus for whenever she uses her elemental burst, elemental skill. Or you could just stack up a bunch of attack and then still let her do damage with the 4-piece bonus. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to preference. Please let me know who you plan to play with the Desert Pavilion, or if you even plan to, you know, get the set. Personally, I think this set is going to be a great addition in taking some of our animal characters that have been relegated to either using 2-piece or, you know, 4-piece Viridescent in order to do, you know, their damage. It's going to be a great option for some of these other characters to really, you know, focus more on their DPS aspects. But at the end of the day, I believe the set is going to be really, really solid. I believe everybody should be farming this domain, not only for the Desert Pavilion, especially if you're an animal main, but mostly because the Flower of Paradise Lost is going to be super clutch for Bloom teams. So you're going to get this anyway, so you might as well make use of it. But at the end of the day, do you. Other than that, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and remember, Embers, to keep burning bright. Until next time, yeah, Latom.
I stay cooking in the stove like I'm Jean Lane. Get too close, I put that flame on you like Wu-Tao mains. Try to run, you won't get far. My gun, you got sniper aim. One day when we find our sibling, we'll see brighter days. Yeah, wishing for brighter days, wishing for finer things, like a 5-star name.